Hi there and welcome to the latest edition of Diary of a Hypnotherapist. And I've had a few people say to me, I didn't realise that can be helped by hypnotherapy, which is part of the reason I've been doing this diary series, to help people understand just the breadth and depth of the sort of things that hypnotherapy can help people overcome or achieve. And this week, like all weeks, has been very varied. A couple of new clients this week, one of them a phobia, and hypnotherapy is amazing with phobias. And I've developed a system that, with a series of 5 very powerful tools, when all combined together, can transform a very acute fear, which is what a phobia is, in a matter of a couple of hours. And the lady that started with me this week had a phobia of lifts, which is actually quite common. And with these phobias, it's often not just lifts, it's anywhere where you can't see either out or an exit. So people who have phobias of lifts often find places like cinemas and theatres really difficult too. They have to sit in the end seat if they can get in there at all. So we just did an intro session and we'll be doing her therapy session hopefully next week. I also had a gentleman start with me who was struggling with depression. Now, my personal definition of depression is hopelessness. And when there is no hope, what is the point of continuing? This gentleman also was struggling with PTSD, and his PTSD related to having attempted suicide and not having been successful. One of the questions I asked for him is, you weren't successful once, why haven't you tried again? And his answer was, because I can see now how much I would hurt those that I love if I actually did it. And that is something, a little glimmer of hope that changes that hopelessness into even a little glimmer. We can start to grow. And hopelessness often is around not being able to control anything. And so we worked together to find something that he felt he could start to control and channel all of the pain and anger that was inside him into something that would enable him to take a degree of control back. And he left here after a couple of hours with a bit more of a spring in his step. And if you are in a place, in a dark place, and feeling a lack of hope, there is another playlist on this channel called Hope, where there is some videos of a number of clients that I've worked with who have been in such dark places, but now who are thriving. And if that gives you a little bit of hope, please do watch, and that may inspire you to take some action too. Whilst I work with many people on a weekly basis, increasingly I have a number of clients that just have a check-in with me. Typically it's about once every quarter, and I've had a couple of those this week. So we get to the end of the series and people have got all the tools they need. The initial problem has been resolved or is being managed by them and growing. But they say, look, I don't want to lose touch. And so what we do is every, say, 2 to 3 months typically, we just have a check-in. How are things going? And what these people are starting to say is, yeah, life happens, things happen, but they think, well, I can park it because I'm going to see Caroline in a couple of weeks' time and we can talk about it then. And also, one of the important things is hypnotherapy isn't just about resolving problems, things that have gone wrong. It's also about taking good things up to the next level. A lot of the techniques that I use therapeutically are also used by the top sportsmen in their practices to go from brilliant to even better. So it's a common misperception that hypnotherapy is just when you're broken or very, very bruised, but it's absolutely not. It's to take you from 5th gear to 6th or from 8th gear to 9th. Whatever the ceiling is to break through that to see what is at the next level. And the other thing that I've done this week, which is not quite so normal, is I recorded a podcast episode with someone who has a podcast specifically related to trauma. And I love recording podcasts because it's kind of freewheel. You never quite know where it's going to go. And it allows me to, again, share stories and techniques in a way that a wider audience can hear. And I've recorded quite a few podcasts over the years. So on my website, carolinecavanagh.co.uk, all of the ones that I've done to date have those episodes recorded on there. Have a flick through. They're all very different in nature, different people that approach me to ask me to guest. And maybe there's something else on there that you can pick up and learn from too. So next week is going to be a slightly shorter week for me because I'm off to Portugal for a few days. Some of you may know I'm also a netball umpire and I get the great opportunity to travel aboard with my sport. So I'm going to be heading off on Wednesday. It's a short week next week, so it may be a shorter video, but who knows? There's always plenty of things that I can say. So thank you very much for listening to this episode, and I look forward to sharing next week. Bye-bye for now.